Hey guys, I'm sorry my videos keep cutting short. I need to delete space on my iPad and my phone, so I don't even know if this part 3, I guess I'll call it. I don't know how long it's gonna go. I hope it doesn't cut me off in the middle of an important sentence. So, okay, so I was talking about Brian. We had a kid. He wasn't there for him at all. He would see him on Tuesdays when his mother would have Zach. And so that was that. Eventually she stopped taking Zach. Okay, so I continued to work, and Tim was still around. You know, he had a bond with Zach. Him and his mother did. They were very good with Zach. Even though me and Tim had some rough times, I gave him a chance and let him in my life, and you know, he did what he helped me. He really did. He would help me. He would watch Zach while I went out, you know, because I was 21 when I was pregnant, and so, you know, I still wanted to go out here and there. And so anyways, this is going to lead me to my next relationship. Jesus, sounds like I've been around town. So I would go to my friend's bar. His name was Joe. He owned a bar, and I met him there because my friend had said, "Oh, they won't card us. Shh, they won't card us. Okay, we can go there and we can drink and throw darts." And so that was the beginning of a wonderful memories with my friend Joe, the owner. We ended up being very close. He was my rock. You know, I didn't have many people that I could count on. He was my rock. I would vent to him. He would give me advice. Everything was always positive. He would it made me uncomfortable because I don't like really getting compliments. Anyways, Joe owned a bar. Okay, so I would go there periodically. And one time I was sitting at the bar just having a drink with a friend, and she looked over and she said, "That guy keeps looking at you weird." And I looked over, and his eyes were like real big. I was like, "Oh my God, is he on crack or something?" Because he looked, I don't usually judge a book by its cover, but when I looked over, his eyes were like bulging. And later on, I found out he heard me say that. Anyways, he came in the bar to get food. He didn't come to drink because he's never been a big drinker. So he came there to eat, but the kitchen was closed. So he was trying to get my attention. He's like, "Do you want to, can I buy you a beer? Do you want to shoot darts?" And I was like, "Okay, you know, it's harmless." And then when it was time to go home, he gave me his home phone number, his work phone number, his email, all kind of numbers to make sure that if I wanted to talk to him, that, you know, he's available. And so sorry, I got a text. So that was the beginning of a 2-year relationship with Eric. Now let me just say right away, to this day, 20 years later, I am still friends with him. And I put him through some stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, I put him through some stuff, you know. And in his own way, he forgave me, you know. Of all the people that I have dated in my life, Eric treated me the best. The problem was, we weren't on the same wavelength. We moved in together after a year. He knew I had this dream house I wanted, and I had a pool, and so he made that happen for me. But I couldn't make myself love somebody. I loved the way he treated me. He treated Zach as his own, you know. And so that was confusing too, because Zach, I didn't want him to be around a bunch of men and say, "Dada, who's that? Is that my dad?" But they had a wonderful relationship. Zach was 2 or 3 when Eric was around, and to this day, you know, they don't go out as much as they used to, but they used to go out, you know, concerts, Halloween things, all over the years. You know, but Zach's 23 now, so obviously he has his own life, and, you know, But Eric was an amazing man, you know. I regret some of the decisions that I made, which I'm about to talk about, but I don't regret them. And the reason why I don't regret these decisions is because the decision that I made eventually led to my daughter and son being born, my second and third child. So, this is hard to talk about. It'll probably cut out and then I'll have to do continuation. Me and Eric, I don't know how to explain it. I think I was in love with how he treated me. You know, he would have done anything for me. Anything for me. But we start fading away from each other. And then, I don't know if anyone remembers AOL online, like it was dial-up internet, or AOL chat. That's what it was. It was a chat. I don't know how I even got started to go to a chat, especially in the same house as Eric. And he would hear me downstairs typing, and he would say, "I'm trying to sleep," but I knew that really meant that I was hurting him. I was just chatting with this guy and getting to know him, and I was very selfish. I mean, looking back, I was selfish because I did that under the same roof as Eric. And the guy, his name's Lee, and he's the second guy that abused me, but he didn't physically abuse me because he would have lost his job as a cop. So I was getting to know Lee while I still live with Eric, and I'm ashamed of that. And when I told Eric that I'm moving to Erie, okay, it's 2 hours from where I live in Pittsburgh, he was devastated. He cried, not for me, for Zach. And that hurt me, even though I was the one making the decision, okay? When I look back in retrospect, I let Lee control a lot of my decisions and what I do, and he would, you know, he would sneak things in like, okay, well, if you don't put your 2 weeks in at work soon, then we're not going to make it. And I thought I was in love with him. I mean, I think I was in the beginning. And so I put my 2 weeks in at my dream job to move to Erie, okay, to another job that paid way less money. But I did it because I thought it was gonna work. Like, this is it. You know, I love this guy. Because we went on dates and stuff. But there was so much stuff that he held back from me. So much stuff. He lied about so many things. He lied about his age. He was actually 15 years older than me, but he lied like 2 or 3 years. So I didn't care about that, but I hate being lied to. Most people do. So I moved in, and later on found out he kicked his pregnant wife out so that I could move in with him. I don't know how he arranged all this and how naive I was. She was 9 months pregnant, okay? And then after she had her baby, I found out I was pregnant. This is like a soap opera, guys. Maybe I can at least make you guys laugh. I can, you know, talking about it now is okay, but going through it, it's been years, so I'm over a lot of it, but I still think back, you know. But yeah, he lied. He had a wife, 3 kids, well, 2 kids, and then his son was born, and then I found out I was pregnant. So right now, my daughter is 10 months younger than one of her half siblings. It's very confusing, and we don't talk to them, and there's a multiple reasons for that. But so I moved in with him, got pregnant with my daughter Leah. I named her after him, and he moved to Pittsburgh, okay? But the only way he would move to Pittsburgh is if there was a cop job. He would not take any job unless he was a cop. You know, and I understood that, but we moved a lot. We moved a lot, but mainly in my area, you know. But even if it paid $6 an hour, if he was going to be a cop, he wanted to do it. It was a power trip. It had to be, you know. And he was not one of the good cops. He did not treat me well. He did everything except hit me. It would have been less painful if he just hit me, because he mentally tortured me. He was super jealous, but at the same time called me ugly, fat, nobody's ever going to want you, you're never leaving here. I mean, I was afraid of him. I was seriously afraid of him. He would pretend like he's calling his boss and say, oh yeah, oh, she has drugs in her car, like, and I fell for all of it. I was scared, you know. And I tried to leave many times. Many times I tried to leave, and somehow he pulled me back in. He cried, and he had never done that before, so I was like, okay, well, maybe he will change. Maybe he'll get better. He didn't. He didn't get better. I felt lost because I kept getting job opportunities, but he always found a way to destroy it, either by calling too much or telling me. In the morning he would get me so upset that I'd be crying, I would look a mess, or he would accuse me of sleeping with people that he didn't even know. So I would quit, or I wouldn't show up to the job, and then I would get another job, and then he would get mad. I mean, I'm trying to bring money in the house, you know, and he didn't want me making more money than him. He had such an ego. And let me just say, I'm 5'3.5". He was 6'7.5". So he was a big guy. He was a pretty big guy, and very intimidating when he was in those moods. And you know, I ran my mouth too, but we had some bad fights. He it was bad. I couldn't even talk to another guy. He would be jealous, or he'd say, if you wear makeup to work today and I show up there, oh, you're gonna lose your job. So it was a lot of threats, but I was scared. And then we ended up moving from Pennsylvania to South Carolina for a police job. I didn't want to go, okay? And I had literally just found out that I was pregnant again. So this would be my second child with him, my son, Matthew. So I already had Zach, and then Leah and Matthew they're 22 months apart. Leah gets mad when I say that. She's like, 22 months apart? God, you act like we're the same age. So, yeah, so he had 3 kids in Erie, and then we had 2 together, and then I had Zach. So he didn't want me working. I would stay home with all the kids, take care of 6 kids. I didn't mind doing it. I loved them like they were my own, you know. And he wouldn't help at home. He didn't help with Matthew. I would say, I have a migraine, can I please just lay down, I'm so tired. And he would say, you got 60 minutes. And guess what, 60 minutes he was opening the door saying, come on. If I wanted to go to the store, take the kids with you. Like, I mean, they're your kids too. So I just, that was bad. He was supposed to protect me, you know. He was supposed to protect me as a cop. There was an incident where, when I was pregnant with our daughter, I was about 6 months pregnant, and I was telling him I'm leaving. And I still can't even believe this happened. He handcuffed me to the table so that I couldn't leave. And my little son, Zach, was kicking him, and he was crying and scared, and I mean, I don't know. It was bad. It was really bad. By the time I finally left him, because they say when you're in an abusive relationship, it could take 5, 6 times. I think it was the 5th time that I left him, and I knew it was for good. I just knew it. And it was a big surprise because he didn't see it coming, and he was pissed. He was trying to take me to court to get our kids, you know, the kids that he never helped out with. He tried to use his position as a cop to, you know, her versus me. It's her word versus me. But eventually he shied away, and he ended up excuse me, he ended up moving to Vegas. for a police job, and he went with a girl. And so my kids weren't seeing him. He never made attempts to see them, you know, when he did live closer. Every now and then, but only if he had a girlfriend so that she could take care of the kids, you know. He never went above and beyond, you know. He had 3 kids in Erie, 2 kids with me. It was just crazy, you know. But I didn't care. I made sure that he didn't get custody of either child. You know, I showed up with an attorney. He did not see that coming, and it worked out. It worked out, you know. So him going, he went from girl to girl to girl to girl. I didn't care. I just wanted him to leave me alone. Moved to Vegas, and that's where he stayed. He stayed in Vegas as a cop until he died. He died December, the week before Christmas, 2019. He got killed in a auto crash. A young lady wrecked into him. You know, I had mixed emotions when I found this out. I had a cop at my door, and I thought I did something wrong. Meanwhile, I never got in trouble in my life, but I'm like, why is there a cop here? He didn't know what to say, so I was like, do you want to go on a porch? Because we were watching Christmas movies. It was a week before Christmas. And this is the week Tim died, too. I found out later on, 2 days apart. The 2 guys that put me through the most hell. I'm just saying, it's weird. So I went on a porch with the cop, and he said, you know, Mildred, Lee's sister, wanted us to get in touch with you to let you know that he was in a car accident, and he didn't make it. And I had mixed emotions, because even though he treated me bad a lot, I'm the type of person that sees the glass half full. You know, try to concentrate on the positives. And so I just went in the house and I told the kids, and I guess I was crying because it was sad. Even though they didn't really see him and know him, they cried. We all cried together, but then they got over it very fast, you know, which is good, but at the same time it's sad because they didn't have a close enough relationship with him to be that upset, you know. And so yeah, he passed away in 2019, and Tim passed away that same week, and it's just very ironic. Okay, so I'm going to end this video, and I think I'm going to have one more, and then that'll be it. Thanks for hanging in there, guys.